Welcome and thank you for joining us today to talk about three cornerstones of a great site search experience. Okay, just to give you a little bit of idea of who we are, who am I, let's start with Unbox, give you a little bit of insight into what Unbox is and where we come from. We are about a 4-year-old company out of the Bay Area in California. We have about 300 retail customers right here in the US, 1,200 globally. We have grown extremely fast in this industry, and there's four specific reasons as to why. Number one is we have solved some of the product discovery problems, specifically in site search, that have not been solved before. Number two is we create custom solutions for all retailers, whether you are an enterprise class customer or a small specialty website. Three, we have a tremendous expertise in scalability. So if your system requires and your experience requires to scale up and scale out at any given point in time, we can easily do that. And last is we're extremely competitively priced and very affordable. And because of this, we believe not just today, but also in the future, we will be the king of product discovery. Okay, a little bit about me. My name is Monal Patel. I'm the Senior Vice President and Chief Business Officer for Unbox. And I'll be conducting this webinar today and walking you guys through all the different elements of these three cornerstones that we talk about from a site search experience perspective. All right, just to give you an idea a little bit about our customers from a global enterprise scales level, we work with Target.com, Newegg.com, Bell's Florida, Berks Outlet, and internationally with Jabong. It's a German rocket internet company. Um, for brands specifically, these are IR 500 brands: Deborah Lippman, Vac Parts out of Texas, Shindigs, Pura Vida, and Sylvain. And from a platform's perspective, our solution can work on any kind of platform out there. And even if you have a custom platform, we also have a solution for custom platforms. So today's agenda specifically focusing on three cornerstones. How did we really come about that? So we've done webinars in the past sharing how designing a site search experience is important. However, for this webinar, we wanted to take it to the fundamentals. It is these cornerstones, the three of them, that make it possible to design a better experience. But if these fundamentals are not strong or not done correctly, customer experience will also suffer, no matter how good your design might be. So what are the three cornerstones? Search relevance, personalization, and merchandising. For each, we will share current techniques and its limitations, whatever that's out there in the marketplace today. Then we will share Unbox approach and our solution and how we overcome those limitations. At the very end, we'll also give you some key takeaways and time for a little Q&A if anybody has any questions. Okay. So let's start with site search relevance. Now, the first cornerstone to a great site search experience is absolutely relevant results. And site search, when it is the first contact for your customers, showing the right set of products becomes extremely important. Otherwise, they tend to exit from the site itself and not necessarily do anything else on the site. So before we get and understand how to understand relevancy and tune relevancy, let's understand a little bit of the customer psyche. So customer expectations from search have increased tremendously over the last 5 years. And why is that? Primarily because the behemoths like Google, Amazon, YouTube, etc. have all changed the way users do site search. You can see in Google how predictive autocomplete really gets into the play. Instant search gets into play. With Amazon, relevant results become extremely important. And with YouTube also, as you might have seen in your own experiences, site search makes it very easy to find what you're looking for. So customers are getting used to those experiences, and now they expect relevant results wherever they search and however they search, which includes your website as well. So before we get into too much detail about relevancy, let me share with you our finding in terms of what kinds of customers do we expect from a site search perspective. So there are two types of customers. One's a primary customer and one's an alternate. So primary customers, they know exactly what they want and they go straight for search as soon as they land on the site. They like speed, and convenience, and so search is their preferred way to discover products. The alternative group, they first try to use navigation, and when that fails, they use search as a last resort. Both these customers expect search to produce relevant results. However, primary users are more forgiving and will make about 3 to 5 attempts before giving up. Type 2, which is the alternative group, however, on the other end, are less forgiving to inaccurate search results because this will be their second failure after navigating, also failed at finding right products. So relevancy is extremely important in both cases, although for your alternative customers, it becomes extremely important to get it right in the first time itself. Now, here's some few examples of how relevancy does not work. We're searching for women's sunglasses on the left, and obviously you can see we're finding some sunglass cases, a beach towel, and maybe a nightshirt. And on the right-hand side, we're looking for women's white skirt, and you can see we're not finding any white skirts. In fact, we're also finding some tops. Now, why is it important that the click density of this first set of results have to be relevant? Because 50 to 58% of your customers will not bother going down, scroll below the fold. 90 to 98% of your customers will not bother going to the second page. So it is extremely important that your first fold of your results are most relevant. Another example, just a slightly different version of the relevance. It's not about finding right products or wrong products because it was a long tail query, but even for simple queries like earrings versus earring, you can see how very different results can show up. So you need to manage not just single query keywords, but also long tail query keywords and continue to improve the relevance over time. Okay, so now that we've established what kinds of users do site search and why relevancy is extremely important, let's understand what is the current scenario of how relevancy is being done today. Whether it is a homegrown solution or any third-party vendor you might have used, or open source solutions that you might have used as well. So currently, all site search solutions primarily do free text matching and pattern matching. So as soon as you type in shoes, they're trying to find the word shoes in everywhere in your catalog. The more attributes in your catalog that you make available for search, the more complicated it becomes. So it works for simple one-word queries, 20-30% of the search queries on a particular site by doing that. The rest is then done by a lot of manual optimization, which clearly has a big limitation in terms of it's not scalable and it's impossible to keep up with a changing catalog, especially if you have a large catalog that changes constantly. Okay. Some other techniques. So let's take a specific example of a long tail query. So we're looking for women's white jeans. Okay. So women's white jeans is the search query. What are the outdated techniques and what does text pattern matching and keyword pattern matching actually produce? So the outdated techniques are three kinds. One, they would do or-ing. So they would do women's or white or jeans, which will produce women's shoes, white jackets, or jeans. So they try to fix that by doing anding, which means now they will search for women's and white and jeans. The problem this created is that if you have a particular product, which is a white jeans, but the word women's doesn't exist for that particular product, the product is not going to show up. And if you have only two white jeans and one of them does not have the word women's in it, certainly you're only showing one product. So the onus on the customer becomes even more so to try to figure out how to find those right products. So to compensate for that, the third evolution became a minimum match or a partial match. And in this case, what they tried to do was women's white or white jeans, trying to match any two keywords and try to figure out if we get some good results, which also introduced problems because you still would be showing women's white shoes or jackets or little girls' white jeans and not women's jeans. So the way Unbox has actually solved it, and I'll show you in subsequent slides, to actually identify what the product type is and other terms should appear but not necessarily required to appear. So let's look at what that means. So take an example. Let's say we are talking about women's white jeans and I get 4 result sets. Now, why do we get a white top in the middle is for illustration purposes. I'll show you exactly why. The scores that you see below are for an algorithm that is typically used for text pattern matching or keyword pattern matching. So why this algorithm produces a white top in the result set in the top results is exactly what we'll walk you through. Okay. So this algorithm is called TF-IDF, term frequency and inverse document frequency. So what are the limitations of term frequency and inverse document frequency? It's useful for matching. So in this example where we showed you a white top, so women's white jeans would also show this white top because it might have the word women's, might have the word white in it, and it may be also in the description said somewhere that this goes good with jeans. So those three keywords exist. However, it gets a higher score compared to some other white jeans. And it's because TF-IDF only gives importance to rarity, but does not consider the usefulness of search results. The Unbox Intelligent Site Search Engine uses TF-IDF also. However, to compensate for their shortcoming, we've already also added another layer called relevance gain to measure the usefulness of these results. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So here you can see white jeans and women's. The IDF scores gives women's the most importance based on that scoring. However, you can also see that jeans and white are given less importance. When we recalculate based on Unbox calculated relevance gain, you can see that jeans is the most important keyword, then women's, and then white. So what happens now in this search result, what Unbox will do as step one is actually identify what is the right product set, move those products up top, and move the irrelevant products or less relevant products down towards the bottom. Okay. Step two. The second step now is understanding what is the actual product. So excluding non-relevant products, what Unbox has also done is solving the second problem, is identifying when somebody's searching for women's white jeans, jeans is the product, women's is a gender attribute, and white is a color attribute. Understanding that is what Unbox has built by building a unbiased corpus. So now we can actually exclude white tops and other combinations. Because now we understand that jeans is a different product type and tops is a different product type. So white tops get excluded, get replaced by other white jeans. Okay. So those are the two, from a technology perspective, steps that actually help with relevancy from the get-go. Step three now introduces a concept of classification. So here, and we did a webinar for this particular example in here, the 12 query types, last webinar was done based on these 12 query types. So if anybody's interested in listening in on that webinar, please let us know, reach out to us, and we'll share a recording of that webinar that is also available on our website. So 12 query types is what Unbox has found in association with a research organization called Baymard, where we have understood that customers can search anything on the site in across these 12 different queries. And these queries have been grouped in different ways in terms of how the customer scope is meant for that particular query. So let's take an example of query spectrum, which is the first spectrum aspect. These type of queries are about setting the search range. So here users are either looking for a product or a type of product. Now they could also be looking for a symptom problem, so it expands the range of how they are searching for the product, or maybe outside of the product range by looking for some non-product information. Okay. Query qualifiers. Users often use certain qualifiers to specify conditions. For example, they may look for specific features or themes, or whether a product is compatible with other products. They may also use something subjective. For example, they are giving a review to a product, high quality speakers, etc. So it's possible for customers to provide some sort of a qualifier for a particular product type. Okay. The last classification is about query structure. This refers to the actual syntax of the query. That is how customers are actually searching, and then the language they use. So here you can see slang abbreviation. They could use MTB for mountain bikes. They could use 6-inch, for example, say 5-inch heels, and they could specify inches with double quotes or IN or INCH or INCHES. Implicit searches are the most complicated way because, giving you an example, for example, we are at a Target store and we are in the men's section, say, for example, and we ask a salesperson, where are our pants? The salesperson understands implicitly that the customers may be looking for men's pants because you are in the men's section. If I was looking for women's pants, I would have specified women's pants to go outside of that section. And that's what implicit searches also do. And natural language is using keywords that we naturally use in a sentence and trying to figure out what the products within that range might be. So women's dresses for office, or gifts under $25, etc. Okay, that was the first cornerstone in site search relevancy. All right, let's throw out a quick poll here. Do you manually optimize search queries for your site? Just a quick question, select any of these options, select one of the following. Yes, we create rules to optimize search queries. No, we use intelligent site search engine, or not right now, but we plan to. I'll give you guys about 30 seconds to take the poll, and then we'll continue. So after search relevancy issues are addressed, it's time to maximize business outcomes by showing more personalized results. Now, until very recently, personalization e-commerce was synonymous to just recommendations. However, with advancements in site search technology that Unbox has brought to the table, we can now create specific personalization by looking at not just what that particular user is doing, but also by what other users on the site are also doing. So personalization in search, what are the conventional approaches that retailers had in the past tried? So site-wide performance benchmark and popular products. What this means is that, let's say I have 10 categories of products, and based on those categories of products, I look at what my best performing products are. And if I'm looking for dresses or blue dresses, it didn't matter, because the word dresses showed up, the most popular dress would show up top, rather than personalization and performance benchmark used within the context of the query itself. Okay, and we'll show you exactly what we mean by that. So the way Unbox solves this particular problem is by looking at an individual query. And let me define what an individual query means. So let's say we're talking about red dress or red dresses. Those two queries are exactly the same to us because dress and dresses are essentially the same words. However, if the customer was looking for a long red dress or a red dress, those are two different queries. So for every individual query, what Unbox does is tracks the performance of how users behave on the site. And we track everything. We take a look at the product clicks, product click-through rates, add to carts, buys, filters being used, pagination being done, every single click that a customer does for that query. So eventually what we do is, by looking at individual products in the context of that query and finding your star performing product. And essentially, once we find a star performing product for that query, we reorder the results within the relevancy. So step 1 and 2 in terms of the relevancy are already done. We classify the query and solve what types of products we need to find. And within those products, we find the most popular products based on what the user's behavior has been on the site. Okay. Now, the next element in terms of personalization, where does it actually apply? So you can talk about in search results, but you can also talk about in your autocomplete. So search autocomplete is the first interaction a customer might have with your site search experience. And right from there, we start analyzing what the customers search for, what partial query that they've entered, what is the results do they start clicking on and start tracking. And that feeds back into the next user searching for something very similar. Okay. Highlighting top sellers. Another aspect of trying to personalize based on the user behavior data is when a customer is browsing for a particular category of product or searching for a particular category of product, How do we show some of the best sellers through the search results page right up top? Another way we also personalize this is showing in the zero results page. When a customer experiences an interruption like a zero results page, you want to give them two options. One, either to go back, and second, either to go forward. The going back, recently viewed, provides the ability for the customer to go back. Recommendations give the customer the ability to go forward. And these recommendations, again, are based on what the user has done on the site and what other users may have done on the site when they ended up searching for something similar. Okay. So how powerful is this user behavior? Just to give you an idea, here's a case study for a customer of ours, yupme.com. It's a large fashion e-commerce site out of Asia, launched as a full-fledged private label fashion brand. The challenge was they had minimal site search functionality. Conversions were way below industry standard. And you can see a direct quote from the GM of yupme.com, where the customers were not able to discover a large set of their products. And forgetting about niche products or accessories, even the most popular categories saw a marginal coverage. So how did we solve it? By providing a relevant search result and a user behavior-based site search solution. The impact is tremendously powerful. You can see 106% increase in click-through rates, 171% increase in revenue, 188% increase in number of orders, and 218% improvement in conversion rate. And all this within a span of less than 6 months. And you can see again, direct quote from him, we've seen a sharp rise in product views and conversions, and our customers are searching more than ever. One other example, what we are trying to do as some of our future webinars is also show personalization on mobile. We're focusing on desktop right now, but one of our future webinars is going to exclusively focus on how we do personalization and site search relevancy on mobile. Okay, I didn't want you guys to forget that we forgot about mobile. Okay. Merchandising, before we get into that, let's do another poll. The question is, do you personalize site search based on user behavior? Select one of the following, yes, no, or never really thought about it. We'll just give you 15, 20 seconds more to answer. All right, awesome. Okay, next is merchandising. This is the third cornerstone of a great site search experience, fundamentally. So let's talk about, from a merchandising perspective, what are the actual challenges that merchants face. So the line between online and physical store is clearly blurring. You want to recreate similar to an in-store experience online. But in online and digital world, you have even more flexibility as you can keep changing and personalizing the experience. However, there are certain business rules that you want to expect and deliver on, which is why you might need merchandising. So how do we effectively merchandise? So the common challenges a merchant can face is improving product discovery and enhancing conversions. Definitely, it's a given. But in addition, you want to highlight new arrivals or bury the old products. Show high margin products to increase maybe the average order value or to increase the margin. Clear or move high inventory items. You want to just get rid of some of the inventory or reduce inventory for a particular set of products. And obviously increase the click-through rate, because the bigger the funnel you make towards the add to cart, even if you maintain the ratio from add to cart to orders, the more people adding to cart, more customers will end up converting. Okay, so let's take a look at what Unbox facilitates in terms of how you can do some of these merchandising elements. So globally, for all search results, you can create specific rules. You can create and show, filter out, don't show any out of stock products. You can create global filter rules to say always show low inventory products up top or low inventory products to the bottom, depending on what your business requirements might be. If you're an outlet where products are always in very low inventory and that creates an urgency for customers to buy, you can easily boost those products up top. Now, the way Unbox will behave is that in the context of these global rules, we still first find relevant products and then apply these merchandising rules. Next is merchandise popular queries. So beyond the global rules, you might want to specifically merchandise a popular set of queries. So here the example is sofa. You might want to ignore, filter out results. You might want to boost or bury certain products. You can also manage individual queries through our system. Okay, next is filtering results. How do you filter for specific queries? In this example here, we're trying to show for mirror, you can have multiple rules to say, show product catalog that has mirrors, but also show product catalog with dressing table that has mirrors in it. So this way you can merchandise and specifically override some of the search technology and show products based on how you want to merchandise it. Highlighting new arrivals. You can filter or boost or promote specific products and highlight them as far as new arrivals go. Okay. Multiple sorting rules. So here you can sort first alphabetically if you wanted to by brand, or by price, sort by descending or ascending. You can sort by color. If you wanted to sort specifically by colors and grouping them together, you can do that. Boosting products. If you wanted to, because this particular product might be high in inventory, so when somebody's searching for ladder, you want to show a particular brand and you want to boost that up to the top, you can boost them. Increase CTRs to boost. You can look at forecasted orders. So in your catalog, if you're already putting in forecasting information, you can share that with Unbox, and you have the ability to use the Unbox dashboard to actually forecast products that you believe are going to be trending well. And you can do this at a very frequent basis. You can monitor this on a daily or a weekly basis and make changes accordingly. Again, boosting to move inventory. If products are high in inventory and you want customers to discover those products faster, you can boost those types of products. Synonyms. I want to repeat myself in saying some of the synonym problems from a relevancy perspective. You do not have to do synonyms for dress and dresses. You do not have to create those types of synonyms. That is automatically taken care of within our system. And that shouldn't be something manually done in today's day and age. Nor you need to worry about spell check. You do not need to create synonyms for misspellings. All of that should be automatically taken care of by your search system. And Unbox is one solution that does do that. However, there will be instances where you need to create synonyms specifically for your industry jargon. For example, shoes and lifters. In weightlifting world, shoes are called lifters. Something like that you need to create. You can easily add synonyms. You can create custom landing pages like value for money or sunglasses carnival, etc. For this particular customers, you can create custom landing pages without having to go to IT. So key takeaways: customer expectations with search are increasing. They're expecting better results. Outdated methods like free text, keyword pattern matching aren't enough. You need to reduce manual intervention and keep up with the changing catalogs. Offer search based on user behavior to create a personalized search experience. And searchandize for a fresh search experience that helps you achieve key business objectives along with merchandising. Any questions? Let me just double check if anybody has any questions. Okay, the first question is, I have over 100,000 products in my catalog. Will this relevance score work for very large catalogs? Absolutely. This relevance scoring becomes even more important for large catalogs, especially because TF-IDF becomes increasingly bad and irrelevant with a larger catalog. All right, the next question is, how is search personalized for new visitors? So when a customer is brand new, we highly rely on what other customers have done, but there are some implicit signals that a customer might have given us, especially like where they're coming from, the IP address, etc. So we try to personalize within the first segment in terms of using collaborative data. However, with 2 clicks that a customer has on the site, we can start personalizing specifically for that particular customer. All right. If you have any more questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'll put my contact information at the end of this presentation. If you would like to grade your site's search experience, please go to unbox.com/grader, sign up. There's no fees to that. It's absolutely free, and we don't bug you if you don't want to be bugged. We'll just send you the grader, and you'll be able to see exactly how good or not so great the search experience might be today. Our next webinar is on August 5th at 2 p.m. Eastern. We're talking specifically about enhancing site search experience on Magento stores. If you are in a Magento platform, we're specifically tackling that topic. Also, we are exhibiting and speaking at eTail East. If you are coming to eTail East, please stop by and visit us at booth 401. eTail East is in August from 10th to 13th. If you have any interest in attending and if you haven't signed up already, please reach out to us. We have specific offers to give you discounts and stuff like that also. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you joining us today for our webinar, and see you in our future webinars. Don't forget to sign up for the grader. Thank you, everyone.